Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something real. Most women think making a man miss them is about texting less or acting busy. But that ain't it. The real secret. You gotta become the kind of woman a man cannot live without. I'm talking about the kind of woman who walks out of the room and his heart feels like somebody snatched a piece of him. The power of absence is one of the most misunderstood principles in relationships. Most women believe that being constantly available, always responding instantly, always showing up, and never leaving any space will make a man appreciate them. But in reality, the opposite is true. You see, people only value what they feel they could lose. When you are always right there, right beside him, answering every call, replying to every message within seconds, you become part of the background noise of his life. He assumes you'll always be there, no matter how he behaves. That comfort can quickly turn into taking you for granted. A man doesn't cry over what he thinks he'll never lose. He cries when he fears something valuable might slip out of his hands. Absence wakes up the heart in ways presence never can. When you give a man space, the first thing that happens is he starts thinking. He begins to notice the silence. He begins to wonder what you're doing, who you're talking to, what you're focusing on, and how you're feeling without him. Suddenly, the messages he used to ignore become the messages he searches for. The calls he used to miss are now the calls he waits to hear, because absence creates curiosity, and curiosity leads to appreciation. Most women are scared to pull back because they fear he'll forget them. But if a man can forget you simply because you gave him a little distance, then he was never emotionally invested to begin with. Space doesn't destroy real connections, it reveals them. Absence is not about playing games or pretending to be busy. It's about genuinely prioritizing your own growth, peace, and happiness. When you step back, not to punish him, but to nourish yourself, that shift is powerful. A woman who is fulfilled within herself is unforgettable. He begins to miss not just your presence, but your energy. The smile you bring into the room, the way you understand him, the support you give, the peace you provide. Men rarely express their emotions when they have something. They express them when they fear losing it. That's why some men never appreciate a good woman until she stops over-giving. Sometimes silence is the loudest teacher. When you allow absence to do its work, he will replay every memory with you in his mind. He will miss the sound of your laugh, your affection, your kindness, and even the little things he never acknowledged before. He will realize how different you are from the rest, but this only works when you pull back with strength, not desperation. If you spend your time away obsessed with him, checking his social media every minute, waiting for his call, then that absence is fake. True absence means you shift your focus back to yourself. You upgrade your life, you glow, you evolve, and that evolution becomes unbearable for him to ignore. That's when a man begins to feel the loss. That's when the tears he never expected to feel start building. Because now absence has done what constant presence never could. It has reminded him of your true value. Emotional imprint is what separates a woman he remembers from a woman he can't forget. It's the deep mark you leave on a man's heart long after you're gone. When a woman connects with a man beyond the surface level, beyond beauty, beyond attention, beyond the physical, she becomes a part of his inner world. Most men don't talk much about their feelings, but they feel deeply. What affects them is not what you look like, it's how you made them feel. If a man can laugh with you, confide in you, and feel safe being vulnerable with you, you've already captured his heart in a way he cannot easily replace. And when that connection is taken away, even for a moment, it hits him hard. That's when he starts missing you with an intensity he never expected. A true emotional imprint is built through authenticity, showing him the real you. Not the perfect version, not the version trying to impress him, but the one that is honest, kind, and present. It's in the way you listen when he talks, the way you encourage him when he doubts himself, the way you celebrate him when he wins, and stand quietly with him when he loses. Many women think being strong means not caring, not showing love, not expressing connection. But a man doesn't miss a wall, he misses warmth. He misses the woman who understood him when nobody else bothered. The woman who saw something in him when he didn't see it in himself. When a woman creates emotional imprint, she gives a man a feeling that home is not a place, it's a person. You become the peace he seeks after a long day. You become the reason he smiles at his phone. You become the voice in his head that gives him hope when the world feels heavy. So when you are not around, that absence is not just quiet, it is painful. He replays the comfort you brought into his life. He starts realizing that the connection he had with you doesn't come around often. And that realization creates fear that he may never find another woman who understands his heart like you do. But emotional imprint only works when you value yourself enough not to overgive. Because if you pour too much without receiving, you lose the magic of connection and it becomes sacrifice. You must protect your energy so the bond stays balanced and powerful. A man cherishes what he earns and respects what he fears losing. So give love, but not in a way that makes you disappear. Let him invest too. Let him show up. Let him put effort into keeping the connection alive. That is how emotional imprint stays strong. And when you step away even lightly, he won't just miss attention. He will miss you, the way you made him feel understood. The peace and joy you brought into his life, the version of himself he became with you beside him. That is when the tears come, because now he's not just missing a woman, he's missing the emotional home he never knew he needed until it was gone. Respecting yourself first is the foundation of making a man truly value you. A woman who does not respect herself will always struggle to earn respect from a man. The way you treat yourself teaches him how to treat you. If you allow him to come and go whenever he wants, if you forgive every mistake without change, if you shrink yourself just to keep him comfortable, you send a message that you don't believe you deserve more. And when you don't see your own value, he won't see it either. But when a woman stands strong in her self-worth, everything about her becomes more valuable. Her time, her energy, her love, her presence. Men admire and chase what isn't easily given. Self-respect is not about having an attitude or acting cold. It's about having standards. It's about saying, if you want access to my heart, you must show up the right way. It's about understanding that love is not proven through how much you tolerate, but through how well you protect your peace. Some women lose themselves in love and then wonder why a man loses interest. A man falls for a woman who knows who she is, not for a woman who molds herself into what she thinks he wants. When you respect yourself, you stop accepting the bare minimum. You stop making excuses for bad behavior. You stop begging for what should be given freely: attention, loyalty, effort, and appreciation. A woman who respects herself does not chase. She does not question her worth based on his moods. She does not collapse just because he pulls away. Instead, she keeps moving, she keeps growing, she keeps shining, and that independence becomes irresistible. Men may not always say it, but they crave a woman they can admire, a woman who inspires them to become better, a woman whose strength challenges them to rise up. When you respect yourself, he realizes he has to level up to keep you. And if he doesn't, he knows someone else will. There is something powerful about a woman who can walk away with dignity, not in anger, not in drama, but with self-respect. That kind of woman leaves a permanent mark on a man's heart because he understands the truth. She didn't leave because she didn't care. She left because she cared too much about herself. And that realization can break a man down. It forces him to face his own behavior. It forces him to ask himself why he didn't treat her like the treasure she was. That's when regret shows up. That's when the tears start falling. Self-respect creates boundaries that protect your heart and amplify your value. When a man sees that you will walk away from anything that doesn't honor you, he knows your love is not something to play with. He knows that if he wants to keep you, he must earn you every day. And if he loses you, he doesn't just lose a woman, he loses a queen who loved herself enough to choose her worth over his inconsistency. That is when missing you hurts the most, because now he understands the value of what he had and the pain of knowing he may never find it again. Mystery and unpredictability are powerful elements that keep a man mentally and emotionally invested. Men are naturally hunters. The moment something becomes predictable, easily accessible, and always available, they stop chasing. They relax. They assume you aren't going anywhere. But when a woman carries a little mystery with her, when she doesn't reveal every thought, every move, every emotion, she becomes intriguing. She becomes the kind of woman he keeps thinking about long after she leaves the room. He wants to figure her out. He wants to understand what inspires her, what excites her, what she's dreaming about. And that curiosity is what makes him miss her, because she isn't a puzzle that gets solved in a day. She's a journey. A mysterious woman knows how to keep her own identity alive. She has her own life, her own passions, her own schedule, and her own growth. She doesn't drop everything the moment he calls. She doesn't explain every detail about where she's going or who she's with. Not because she's hiding, but because her life doesn't revolve around him. That independence creates a beautiful tension. It makes him want to be a bigger part of her world. Not because she demands it, but because she inspires it. Men fall hard for the woman they can't fully figure out, the woman who gives him love, but not dependency, attention, but not obsession, affection, but not ownership. Unpredictability doesn't mean playing childish games or being inconsistent in love. It means adding surprise and excitement to the relationship. It means sometimes changing the script. Maybe she doesn't answer instantly for once. Maybe she chooses to spend time with her friends instead of him. Maybe she takes herself on a solo date and enjoys her own company. Maybe she tries new things and grows in unexpected ways. A man watching a woman evolve becomes scared of missing out on that growth. He starts wondering, what if someone else sees her glow before I do? That fear alone is enough to put tears in a man's eyes. Men miss what they cannot control. When you are predictable, he knows you'll always be right there waiting. When you are mysterious, he doesn't know what the next chapter with you looks like, and that uncertainty keeps him hooked. It keeps his heart awake. It keeps his emotions alive. When you pull back just a little, when you don't respond with your usual pattern, when you give him space to wonder, he begins to value every message you send, every moment he gets, every second in your presence. Mystery protects your value. When a man meets a woman who is confident enough not to reveal everything, he realizes he needs to put in effort, and that effort creates attachment. You become the woman who stays on his mind when he tries to sleep, the woman he scrolls back through messages to feel close to again, the woman he fears losing to someone who appreciates her more. And that fear, that deep emotional pull, is what brings tears to his eyes when he's alone, wishing he understood you better when he had the chance. Living a fulfilled life is one of the strongest ways to make a man miss you, because it shows him that your happiness does not begin or end with him. A woman who has purpose, passion, and direction is unforgettable. She becomes the kind of woman who lights up a room without trying, who attracts admiration without asking for it, and who becomes magnetic simply because she is genuinely alive. Men are drawn to women who have something going on, women who are busy building dreams, learning new things, taking care of themselves, growing mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. When a woman's life is full, a man starts to realize that she isn't waiting on him to make her feel whole. She already is. And that kind of wholeness is rare. Too many women lose themselves in relationships. They stop focusing on their goals, stop spending time with their friends, stop nurturing their talents, and suddenly their life becomes all about the man they love. The problem is, when you make a man the center of your life, he starts believing you have nothing else to offer. He sees you as predictable, as dependent, and that kills the mystery and value. But when you continue to grow and glow, even while loving him, he is constantly reminded that you are a woman of value, A woman with a life he wants to be part of, not a life he controls. Fulfillment makes you radiant. It gives you confidence. It puts you in a state where you smile more, laugh harder, and walk with purpose. A man feels that energy when you're around him, and he feels the lack of it when you're gone. If your world collapses every time he pulls away, he never truly misses you because you show him that his presence is the only thing keeping you standing. But when you remain strong, joyful, and focused even in distance, that's when he starts hurting. That's when he wonders, how does she still shine without me? The truth hits him that you loved him because you chose to, not because you needed him to survive. Living a fulfilled life means creating moments he wasn't part of, memories with friends, achievements in your career, new experiences, personal success, and self-love rituals that make you deeper and more interesting. Then when he sees you growing, laughing, traveling, learning, and winning, he begins to realize he might be losing a woman who is only going up. That realization shakes a man in a way you cannot imagine. It causes him to feel the fear of missing out, not on fun, but on a future with you. A fulfilled woman becomes a vision, and men don't want to lose a woman who is headed somewhere great. When he sees that life is still beautiful for you, even without him, it makes him reflect. It makes him regret taking you for granted. It makes him crave your presence again, because now he understands you never needed him to complete you, but he may just need you to complete his life. And that is when missing you becomes so deep, it can bring tears to his eyes. Letting him do the chasing is one of the most crucial keys to making a man feel your value deep in his heart. Men are wired to pursue. They fall in love with what they work for, what they invest in, and what they fear losing. When a woman does all the chasing, constantly proving herself, constantly reaching out, constantly trying to keep his attention, she flips the natural order. Instead of him earning her love, she ends up begging for his. And when a man doesn't have to put in effort, he will label the woman as easy to get and, unfortunately, easy to forget. The moment you stop chasing is the moment he has to decide whether he truly wants you or just enjoyed the convenience of your attention. A man knows the difference between a woman who is genuinely interested and a woman who is desperate for validation. The one who lets him chase shows confidence. She shows that her love and time are not open for just anyone. They must be earned. That creates an emotional challenge for him, and men love a challenge. It wakes up his instincts to prove himself, to show effort, to go after what he wants. When he sees that you are not holding on to him out of fear, but allowing him the opportunity to show up, he starts to value everything about you more. He realizes that winning a woman like you has meaning. Chasing is not about games or manipulation. It's about trusting that if a connection is real, he will put in the work. Women often panic the moment a man pulls away. They start calling, texting, worrying, questioning their worth. But in those moments, silence is stronger than any message you could send. By stepping back, you give him a chance to realize what he stands to lose. You allow him space to feel the absence, and that absence becomes a mirror reflecting your value. He begins to understand that love isn't guaranteed. He begins to see you not as someone at his feet, but as someone he must rise up to keep. When a man truly cares, he will fight for the relationship. He will plan dates. He will call first. He will show up. He will apologize. He will correct himself. He will do whatever it takes. But he can only do that if you let him. A woman who constantly rescues him from effort and responsibility actually weakens the attraction. She takes away his chance to invest and therefore takes away his emotional attachment. The more he invests emotionally, mentally, and physically, the more connected he becomes. The effort is what ties his heart to you. Letting him chase doesn't mean ignoring him or acting like you don't care. It means matching his effort. It means saying, I'm here and interested, but I will not carry this whole thing alone. You respond to energy, not excuses. If his effort increases, you move toward him. If his effort decreases, you gracefully step back. That balance keeps the relationship alive and keeps his emotions awake. A man cries missing the woman who once gave him a chance but didn't give him her whole life on a silver platter. He cries missing the woman who believed in him enough to let him prove himself. He cries missing the woman he worked for, fought for, and feared losing. When he sees that you will not chase him, but he must chase you, he starts to realize the weight of your worth. And if he loses you, that effort he failed to give becomes his biggest regret. Those tears he hides from the world, they come from knowing he didn't chase the woman he actually loved until she was too far away to catch.